by Sujit. He is the captain and secretary of AWS Cloud Club at IIT Madras. He will teach us all about Amazon QCLI and another 30 minutes of the session taken by Danny Chen. He is the community builder at AWS. He is joining us all the way from Hong Kong and will teach us all about Amazon Bedrock. Welcome, Danny.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, Sujit, now you can start.
Okay, can I present now? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you are
Yes,
audible.
you are audible.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry for this.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm audible, right? Yeah. Yeah, please give it thumbs up. Okay, make us engage. Yeah. Okay, so myself Sujit, I'm a cloud captain and secretary for this club. So what we do at this club, so we organize monthly or like say monthly event for the AWS Cloud Club about cloud computing and that all. To make it familiar to you all people about AWS, what is AWS? So today we are talking about QCLI as well as Bedrock. So Dan is there for us today. He's joining from all the way from Hong Kong. So let's start. Starting with the CLI. Okay, QCLI. So how many people are familiar with Linux? Just give me a thumbs up. Anyone have used Linux earlier or like who are working in Linux or who took the course of system design? Oh, great. Okay, okay. So what do you think? Like, can we make this Linux as automated with AI? It's possible, right? Let's go to Chat GPT and copy in command and paste in the Linux. Okay. So what you think? Like, let's add that thing in your Linux terminal itself. So what this QCLI do? I'll just share my screen. Okay. Okay. So this CLI do to automate your Linux development at the pace. Okay. Just 1 minute, I'll share the screen. Okay. So with the help of QCLI, Q developer CLI, you can automate the Linux development. Okay. So I'll guide you about that. First, let's explore what is actually a QCLI. So QCLI is nothing but the kind of GenAI agent that will integrate in your Linux development tool itself. So if I go and sorry guys for this. Yeah. So what is QCLI? QCLI is kind of an AI agent that will automate your daily task in the Linux development itself. So just on the QCLI with QChat. Okay. My screen is visible, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now my Amazon QCLI got started. So it's nothing but another AI agent that got integrated in my Linux environment itself. So we used to do right. We used to type a command for checking this folder is there or not. We can do with this here itself. Let's say I have let's say I want to find my milhawk file. So please let's say I'll type please find my milhawk file. Okay. So it will check my current directory that's there in my Linux terminal at development, like my home directory, and it will find it. So that's the use of QDeveloper to make your Linux development more friendly and more easily. So let's go into deep how we can install that thing. So may I know how many people have installed this WSL? just give me okay. So good, right? Yes, lots of people have WSL. So what we'll do, we'll okay. So those who are beginner into for Ubuntu, let's go here in your start thing. Yes, just you can search Microsoft Store. Those who have Mac or like Linux with dual boot, they directly can go and just go in the terminal. But who are using Windows, they can just go into Ubuntu, just go into Microsoft Store and just search Ubuntu. And after searching Ubuntu, there is a first software that we are saying, right? And just go and install. So I already installed it. So there is a no need to install it again. So what will your next method? I will share one installation guide to you. Okay, in the chat. Just go to the chat. Just go to the link. Okay, and there will be three commands that we have to type to install it. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So just click here Ubuntu. Yeah. So let's just download. Just click on this copy button and just paste it here in your terminal. Yeah. Okay. So it will start installing my QChat file. Okay. Okay. So we'll go and copy our next command. Just want to enter the password that you set at the Ubuntu installation. Yeah. So yeah, so that's all, guys. We have installed our QCLI. Just click here Q chat. You can type. Okay. Yeah. So already log in it. Those who are not yet login, right? So you have to type here as Q. Then it will show to log in with your, we can say, a builder ID. So you have to create the Amazon builder ID for that. So when you click on the Q chat, then they'll ask about to log in it. So you just want to log in it, and after sign completion, you just type Q chat. Just time in terminal Q chat. So your Amazon queue will be get open. So may I know how many people have understand this? So, all clear, right? Just give me thumbs up. Those who are clear. Okay, so Vicky have doubt. Please unmute yourself and ask. Hello. Yeah, Vicky.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt in between. Actually, I don't have power connection right now, and my laptop is not charged. So this recording you will be sharing, or just now I
Yeah,
have
no
joined
problem.
it.
We are sharing the recording also.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Sorry to
sure.
disturb.
Okay. So, what is Q developer that I already explained? Those who are new, I'll just explain it again to you. So, it's kind of a AI agent that will integrate in your Linux. So, that will make superpower, that will give a kind of superpower functionality to your Linux environment. So that we can make your Linux, it's more automated. So, it's supported 25 plus programming language. You can generate a code with that. You can make your AWS automate with that. Okay, so that is about queues, and then the CLI that I told, right? You can ask anything, you can generate a code, you can actually make a functional application and deploy it locally into your through your AWS account also. You can integrate MCP also, the model context protocol. I guess people who are there in last session about AI agent, we already explained what is MCP protocol and what is AI agent. So you can integrate that also. So yeah, this is the method I told, right? I already explained how to install and that. All those who are just now joined, you can take the snapshot, or we will share recording. We're sharing recording to this session, so you can follow that thing also. So we'll skip this. So last, that's the thing we are actually doing. We are doing a one hands-on activity to let's build a game with Python and Q developer. So just open your WSL again. Okay, I'll just type it and type here pip install pygame. Sorry. Pygame. So pygame is a library. There, with that you can actually build a game. So it's asking me your environment is not properly set up. So we'll just create one virtual environment. Actually, I already created the virtual environment. So you just want to type this command, and next you want to activate this thing. So source env. Okay. So my virtual window is active now. So you'll just add the same command. This pip install pygame. Okay. So I already installed that thing. So those who are new, that will give some coding and that all. So that's so with this we have installed the pygame. So we'll go for the next method. That is to let's making the game from QChat. So we'll type again QChat here. Okay. So now my model is the for the queue chat. We have opened the window. So there already a Claude Sonnet 4 is by default it got selected. So if you want, you can type help to get more, know about what more commands are there and that all. So what is our task? Our task is to build a game, right? To build game with that, like capture flag they have told, but we'll make some different game, right? So we'll make one game, right? Like let's type in chat, guys, what game you want to build with this. Let's type in chat here. We'll take one game. Yeah, yeah, type in chat like what game you want, you are interested to make it with that. Yeah. Okay, so let's make a simple game. Let's make the snake game. Okay, so we'll type create the snake game for me, right? So you already play, right? That's the small when we are late, I guess. Okay, so yeah, okay. When we are at like child time, so we played that snake ladder game from that your phone, right? So we'll build that game. Okay. Yeah. So it's taking time. So it's already building requirement.txt, and then it started building the file and that all. Okay. So it's taking some time. Okay, so it's how given the code to us also. We created the two files, snake game and then requirement.txt. Okay, so we'll just close this as a qa quit. Okay, and then we'll just create on ls. Okay, so you can see in there, right? So we have the files and that all that got created actually. So let's go into on it, right? So Python. So yeah, so you can see our game got created in just one command, and it got we can say run it in your local itself. So this is the power of QCL that you can build your game. Not only game, I just have given intro to you about game that will make it this session more engaging. So you can make the game, you can make the application, you can actually connect your AWS here, and you can do that deployment from automate here itself. So this is about the QCLI. We can go in more into that. Like I don't know how many people have used Linux and that one. So we used to find if you want to find some file or like that. So we'll used to type ls and then we want to file, right? So I just want to get know about like how many Python files are there in my directory. So what it do, it make it analyze your directory. It analyze your folder. So there are like it shows, right, there are 30 files, and then there is one Python file is there that we have recently created. So this much power it have to make it your Linux more automated. Okay, so this is about the Linux, or we can say, uh, let's building a game with this power CLI. This is about a demo. So if anyone have a doubt, you can ask it. Okay, yeah. Please ask if anyone have doubt about the QCLI. Yeah, yeah, we have to use the builder's ID. Yeah. You have to use your builder ID. You have to create your builder ID. So if you go and search here ads, Amazon Builder ID. Yeah, so you can create it. Okay, so there will be a link here. You can create your Builder ID with that. Okay. So okay, any other doubts are there? Okay. Okay. So I'll just announce it. Okay. So people who are asking for certificate and that all. So there is one challenge. So who will build the best game from this Amazon QCLI and share that thing, right? What we can say the code and that all in the GitHub will get the AWS credit and as well as get the certificate from Outlook. So yeah, yes, AWS Q developer is free. Tier is available. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can. Yeah, you can build it. Okay. Okay, you can build it. There needed more library, like Dota 2 you want to build. That need a more library. Pygame will be not be sufficient for that. It's need the heavy library. Okay. Okay. So that's about Amazon Q developer CL, I think. So furthermore session will continue by Danny itself. So yeah. So Danny is the AWS community builder as well as community day organizer. He is a software engineer in the Hong Kong. So all the way joining from Hong Kong. Thank you, Danny. So you can continue further more session now. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Amazing. I like your talk. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Danny Tran from Hong Kong, and I'm community builder, and I'm really excited to be here to share the topic about Amazon, Bedrock, and Lonely Beach. And hopefully, you will learn a lot of topic here. Agenda. First, we will have the warm-up session. How to create the Amazon CLI on your web page. And then we will dive deep into Amazon Bedrock, Lonely Base, and multi-agent. And finally, I will talk about AWS and Amazon leadership. Okay, here is the warm-up session. For example, if I'm the newbie on AWS, how do I install AWS CLI on my local machine to connect my AWS account? Before we begin the session, we need to understand what is AWS command line. AWS command line is the interface for you to manage your service, and it automatically ready for you. Here is the example. On my command line, you directly enter AWS. It will pop up some useful message for you. It is the cross-platform support. It's the native for you to install the CLI on Windows, on your Mac, and your Linux workspace. For service management, it could help you to control and configure the AWS service like S3, EC2, Lambda through the single and simple command line. And also, this is automation ready. It could help you to create your CI/CD pipeline to deploy your development to your AWS account for you to quickly to deploy and test your application. The most important thing is the CLI help you to do the authorization. That means you can work through your CLI to connect your AWS account to help you perform your operation. Before you use the CLI, you need to set up the account key as well as the IAM roles, or you can use the AWS SSO credential. On this example, I will use the AWS user access key to quickly set up your environment to connect with your AWS account to build your own application. Here is the example to use AWS CLI. Here, I set AWS S3 sync help. This function I will use on the next section, on the next demo. So here, it provides the description. What is S3 sync? S3 sync means I will upload the file to my S3 bucket. So this is the most important way to boost your development skill because you can directly within your command line and focus on your development and don't need to switch between your browser and your IDE. And also it provides the example. You can provide the local path and then the SV URL. The SV URL means the bucket path. I will show you later. This is the full architecture I will show you today. First, you are the newbie here. Amazon Q will help you to create the summary, the guideline, how to set up the AWS CLI on your local machine. So here is the really important thing. You need to use the AI, you need to use the tools to help you to quickly understand the surface, how to create the surface, how to use the surface for your development job. Here, you will create the IAM roles, and then on the IAM user and the role, you will create the access key. And finally, you get the access key, and then configure the key for CLI to connect your AWS account. So here is the summary only. I will create the step-by-step guideline to let you understand how to do it. Okay, first thing first, what is IAM? IAM is the identity and the access management. It's for you to create the security control to access to AWS resource. Here is the important concept. On AWS, here is the user, roles, and the group here. In this example, I will create the brand new user, such as if I want to create the Cow Cup user here for this demo. And here is the IAM user. It's the individual identity to create within your account for the people or application to get the specific permission to perform some action within your AWS account. Here is the access key. The access key is the programmatic credential. It has the access key ID and the secret access key that enable your AWS CLI to connect with your AWS account and perform some action. And then we need to set up the permission on your user. Here is two important concepts here. The access key, it helps you to understand who you are. For example, I create the user, the user is for CloudCube member. The access key is help you to understand, hey, you are the member from CloudCube, and you can get access, you have the access way to get into the AWS account. And another concept is IAM policy. IAM policy means what you can do. So here, in this example, on permission policy, I create the 4 policy here. You have the administrator access right to get access to the AWS account. And also, you have the access right to the database network and the system. That means you have the permission to deploy the some application, some Lambda, some DynamoDB on the AWS account here. For the security best practice, we encourage you have the rotation policy here. And you need to use the least privilege principle. That means you only provide the right permission to your member. For example, the member, I don't want they have the knowledge about the billing of the accounts. So I don't create any bill policy here. They only try to create the application on the AWS accounts, and the administrator access right is good enough for finish their job. And this is okay, and only provide the administrator access right to this user. And for another example here is the database administrator right. Here is means you can create the DynamoDB, RDS-DB on AWS account. Everything is the same here. Okay, we talk about the concept of the IAM, CLI, and it's time to create to dive deep into the Amazon Q. How Amazon Q can help you to install CLI. Here is my IDE. Since we are developer, we highly recommend our developer to focus on their IDE to their development tools. Here is the Amazon Q track. That means I install the Amazon Q plugin within my IDE, my development tool. And I am the junior developer, and this is my first time to have the knowledge about how to set up the CLI on my local machine. And it's really, really exciting that Amazon Q can help you to learn how to install AWS CLI and finish your job. Here is the example. I asked Amazon Q, hey, how to install AWS CLI for Windows. And then it's create the example here. Right here, you can download the package. Okay, so I run the command line, and this one, it means it will help me as an agent, as an AI agent, to download the package, the CLI package here. And then here it provides the shell script. I can directly click run install, and Amazon Q can help me to install the package. I can directly stay focused on my IDE without touching anything. After I install the CLI, here is the problem. Hey, I use AWS version. However, I cannot install the CLI on my local machine. It says AWS CLI is not existing here. The system cannot find any AWS CLI command line here. Okay, so it provides another example. Maybe it's the path issue because the misconfiguration about the path, and it tried AWS and Amazon Q try to run some patch configuration to help me fix the issue. However, it still doesn't work. Okay, another next example here. It tried to get some package from my program file to check is it already installed on my local machine, and final answer is no. The system cannot find the CLI package on my local machine. So Amazon Q is intelligent, is very good, smart enough to provide the final solution for me. I can directly manually install the CLI on my local machine, and it's really smart because it's the good way to install AWS CLI on my local machine without any problem later. Okay, so it pop out the install window and just directly install the AWS CLI on your machine here. So this is the example to let you understand Amazon Q is really helpful for you to dive in the problem, and it's the step-by-step guideline to debug what is the root cause on your machine. And then I successfully installed AWS CLI on my local machine. And next answer is how to connect my AWS account with the CLI. Before we do any action, it's the good practice. Is this the real problem? Can the CLI really don't connect to AWS account? So Amazon Q provide the one command line to let me understand what is the connection state on my local machine here. It provide AWS STS get calling identity. You can assume that means it will track is any access key, is any connection I can do some operation on my AWS account, and then it automatically run this command because Amazon Q is the agent. It has it have the permission to help me to run some command line here? And the answer is Amazon Q cannot locate any credential on my local machine. And that means the CLI cannot connect with my AWS account. So Amazon Q is smart enough to help me do some action here. It provides the solution for me how to fix the issue. Here, Amazon Q provides some solution here is that I can use the AWS configure. It can help me to create the connection between my local machine, my CLI, and the AWS account. Here is two important variables to set up on my environment. First is the AWS access key ID. And second variable is AWS secret access key. And AWS SSO step means it's the organization configuration. So it is the optional here. And finally, I need to declare the IAM rule if I want to run the EC2 here, but this is the optional here. It's still the optional. So I only need to focus on how to set up AWS access key ID and AWS secret access key on my local machine to help me connect with my AWS account. And this demo, I will show you how to use the IAM to create the IAM user key. Okay, so I asked Amazon Q how to create AWS access key ID and AWS secret access key for AWS CLI. And Amazon provides the solution here. And first, we need to create AWS IAM user. We need to go to the AWS account, go to AWS IAM service here, and then under the user, I need to create the user specific username for my brand new IAM user. Okay, so we need to step by step to create the IAM user first. Okay, here is the AWS console. On my AWS console, I select IAM here. On the left panel, we select user. And then I could like to create a brand new user. Here, totally 4 steps. First, we need to specific user detail. Here, I could like to create the user for the CalCup member. So the username I directly CalCup here. And then I want to create the IAM user directly with the password set up. It's much more easy for this demo, but for the production ready level, I highly recommend you use this one. Is use the Identity Center to centrally manage your all user account. And the next step, we need to set up the permission. On permission, I could like to attach the policy to the user. As mentioned before, since this is the demo purpose, I directly attach the administrator access right to the user. But for the production ready, I highly recommend you use the user group. The user group means you can create maybe 10 AWS users for your organization. For centralized manage your user, your policy, it could easy to help you to create the organization without operation overhead. And next question is, hey, here is a lot of permission policy. So what the policy we need for our AWS user for our specific job? And if you have any question, I highly recommend you can directly ask help from Amazon Q. Amazon Q is definitely do the great job to help you to create some fantastic solution. So here on Amazon Q, I asked Amazon Q how to create the IAM user for developer with full access right. What permission policy should be attached to the user? And Amazon Q provides the solution here. First, I need to attach the administrator access management policy. And here is the command line for me to create the user the policy and attach the policy to the user. So here, I can on AWS console, I can directly select administrator access right here. Before we attach any policy to the user, the best practice is you really understand what permission, what the AWS service, the policy include. So here, you can see administrator access right, that means the user have the permission to do any action for any AWS service. So it's so crazy here because for the user, it's not good enough to provide the full access right. Everything on the production environment, it is good to have the construction, to have the key plan to understand what the AWS service the user can perform. So this is the security best practice. Why we need to use the IAM user for the developer with full access right. For administrator access right, and this is good to rotate your access key regularly because every credential is not the long term, it's the short term credential. That means everyone, they only have the limit period, limit time to access your AWS account to avoid any security issue. And here, this is another situation. For the production-ready environment, I could like to create the IAM user for my developer only. So, what is the good solution? And what permission policy should I attach to the IAM user for the developer? And Amazon Q provide another example for me. Here, Amazon Q create the core developer policy. That means it provides the power user access. And then it provides the additional policy for development focus. For example, if the user is the web or application developer, it only provides the S3 SSY, LDS, the database SSY, and the Lambda SSY for the web developer only. If the user is the DevOps engineer, we only provide the EC2 SSY, VPC SSY, or the CloudWatch SSY for monitoring, for networking, or for the instant the resource management. And this is good enough because you have the key example. You understand what the service, what the user can perform on AWS. So here is the guideline from Amazon Q. For the IAM user, first, we need to create the power user SSY. And then, since this is the AI and machine learning developer, we need to create the Amazon. Since the user is for AI and machine learning developer, we will attach Amazon Bedrock full SSY and Amazon SageMaker full SSY to the machine learning developer. For this demo, since we only focus on Bedrock, so we only need to attach Bedrock full SSY to the IAM user. So here is the recap. For the security best practice, we can start with the power user access, and then we can add the specific service. We can add the specific service policy instead of create the full power, the full administrator SSY. Okay, talk is cheap. So here is the summary. What is the difference between administrator access and the power user access? The power user access is only for you to create, or it's only for you to create the development, to create the operation resource only. The power user access don't have the permission to do any management on the IAM. It cannot modify or create the IAM user roles. It cannot access to the billing or account setting, and it cannot perform any account level operation. And that is good for use the power user access policy for your developer. So here, we will use developer administration. We use the developer roles on our demo, and we don't use the administration policy. Okay, we select the policy, and finally, we can review the policy here. Since this is the demo purpose, I create a system administration right on the brand new CloudCup user. We review the permission is good enough, so we attach the permission to our user. And after we create the permission, here you can see I attach some policy on my CloudCup user. And here is the full policy list for the developer. Since this, as mentioned, this is the demo purpose, I directly attach the administrator access right here. But under the hood, good to only provide the Bedrock only provide the Bedrock policy. Okay. After we create the user with the good policy, And then we need to create the access key. Here is the solution from the Amazon queue. On AWS user, I need to select create the user key and select the command line interface for the use case, generate the access key, save the credential, and then use AWS config on my local machine to configure the access key and on my local machine. So on AWS account here is the CloudCup user I create before. And then I select CloudCup user. And then on security credential tab, we use create access key. The first time is really confused. Hey, here is a lot of solution here. What does option we need to use? Fortunately, we have the pen. We understand we need to use command line interface. Because we use the CLI, this is our destination. We will create the IAM user and have the access key to connect with your AWS CLI. So we select command line interface here. And then we need to set up the description tag. Give you more example. The tag means you can attach some extra information on your resource. It's really useful for you to manage your resource. For example, if I set here is the demo, and then on my AWS account, I can retrieve all the resource with the demo hashtag. So it is good for you. For demo purpose, I leave it empty here. And then finally, I can retrieve my secure access key. And it provides some best practice. For example, don't expose your access key to the third-party platform. And then here, on AWS CloudCup user access key, I already created the credential here. The next step is to configure the access key on my AWS CLI. And the final step here is the config key for CLI. And it is good to ask Amazon Q how to configure the access key for my AWS CLI and then the solution is use AWS config. It's the good example to keep us help from Amazon Q to keep focus on your workflow to understand, hey, this workflow is good. Amazon Q is provide the solution and I'm on the right track. And then here is the command line. I select AWS configure and then it pop up. Oh, wait a second. on my console, I can use AWS config. It provides the step-by-step guideline to help me set up AWS access key, security access key, and finally, I can select the default region name here. And after I set up everything from my console, and then I successfully connect to my AWS account, we can use the command line the Amazon Q profile for us. For example, I type AWS STS get caller identity, and then it provides the user ID, account ID, and the ARN. And here, I successfully connect my CloudCube user with my AWS account. And then here is my local machine. I start to review what I done before. So on the credential file, and then here is the default setting. I have the access key ID and the security access key. So that means I successfully install I can successfully install the access key on my local machine, and then I can successfully connect my AWS CLI with my account. So it's really, really exciting. It's really, really amazing to use Amazon Q for your development. Okay, here is some example. We need to learn by example. We need to learn from the real-world implementation. We need to have some hands-on experience and with the help with Amazon Q. So we can dive deep into Amazon Bedrock here. Here is the amazing topic. And I will show you how to create a financial service. Here, I want to build the fundamental analysis team to study Amazon future value on the Bedrock only page. So here is the example here. First, I will use Amazon Bedrock to create the agent. Within the agent, we have the lonely page. The lonely page will attach to the S3 factor. That means the lonely page can retrieve some data from your S3 factor. On your S3 factor, we have some PDF file. For example, we have the policy statement, we have the financial report, and we have the shareholder letter. So, before we create the Bedrock agent to create the Bedrock lonely page, we need to understand what is fundamental analysis. Fundamental, that means we need to understand the company financial health. Wait. Oh, sorry. We want to understand the intrinsic value of the company. And then for the fundamental analytic, we have two really important knowledge. First is the top-down and bottom-up. For the top-down, we have the economic analytic, and then we will read through the industry. Finally, we will understand the company intrinsic value. But for the bottom-up, first, we will understand the company, for example, Amazon. And then we understand the industry, for example, is the technology industry. And finally, we will go through the economic analytic. And we will and then, for example, here is the PDF file. This is the annual report from Amazon Q, and we will attach this PDF report to the SV factor later. Okay, for my demo, I will create 4 different agents. First agent is the supervisor. It has the bottom-up analytics concept. And then every agent will read through the different types of PDF file. Here is the example here. We will install the PDF file on SV Factor. And here is the example to let you understand why Amazon Q is so useful. Here is the raw data I get from some agency. It only provides some PDF file for me, and I could like to format the file name. For example, the file name should be first year and then type, for example, is the shareholder letter or is the policy statement. And for this tedious workload, and I have the good example, I can get help from Amazon Q. And Amazon Q is the agent. I provide the instruction for the Amazon Q. Hey, I could like to rename the file. And then Amazon Q provide the script. Here is the tips for your development. Be sure ask the AI, ask Amazon Q to provide the execute script, because we really have to understand what exactly the execution the agent help us to perform. So we need to be careful, understand what we did, what we done. So I asked the Amazon Q to provide the script for me. I can read through what the action, what the performance I will do. It could help me to avoid some unexpected action. And then I can let Amazon Q run the script to help me to format all the file name. And then here, Amazon Q help me and here Amazon Q help me to format all the file name. Okay, we have the PDF file and we have to upload those PDF file to SV bucket. So it's the good job with Amazon Q. Hey, here is the statement. I want to upload all the PDF file to my bucket. My bucket name is knowledge-based financial service. And then Amazon Q provide the script for me. I can directly run this script and it's AWS SV sync. I sync the Amazon PDF folder to my SV bucket. My SV bucket is knowledge-based FSI, and I could install all the PDF file to the Amazon PDF here. And then here is the highlight. AWS SV sync all the PDF file to the S3 bucket. And then we finish the PDF part, and then we will create the Bedrock lonely page here. Okay, on my AWS console, on Bedrock, and we select lonely page and create the brand new lonely page here. I could like to use the factor store. This factor store means the SV factor here. First step, I need to provide the detail. Type in the name is the FSI annual report, and then I create the brand new service role or I use the existing role. Here I use the existing role, but you can, for demo purpose, you can directly create the brand new AWS service role. And then I will use Amazon S3 as a data source. Next step, configure the data store, configure the data resource. We provide the name here, and then select the S3 URL. The URL is S3 lonely page FSI Amazon PDF. And then next step, we need to select the trunking strategy. But here is the example, but here is the problem. What is trunking? And if I select another trunking strategy, how is affect to the outcome here? So before we create anything, we need to understand the methodology under the hood. So trunking, that means we have the PDF file here. It's do the trunk document. It's split the document into manageable chunk for effective data retrieve. And then the chunk will be converted and embed finally right to the factor index and store on the S3 factor. And here is fourth chunk strategy for you. First is a default chunk. Don't have any setting here. It's directly split the content around 400 tokens. It have the sentence boundary. That means it will have the complete sentence within each chunk. For second strategy is the fixed size chunking. That means based on the default chunking, it provides some sort of flexibility for you. You have two settings here. First is the maximum number of tokens, and second is the overlap percentage between the chunks. And then the third chunking strategy is hierarchy. It means it creates the parent chunk and the child chunk. For the retrieve methodology, it will start from retrieve the child chunk and then keep going to have the comprehensive context. And it is good enough if you have the demo purpose, but in my demo, I will try to use the semantic chunk. The semantic chunk have the neutral language process technology. It will define the text into the meaningful chunk to enhance the understanding and information retrieval. Here is the benefit. It can improve the accuracy by focusing on the semantic content. For the chunk, we have some important settings. The first is the buffer size. The buffer size is the number of the surrounding sentence. And second is the breakpoint percentage threshold. The highest threshold requires the sentence to be more distinguishable in order to split into the different chunks. That means if you set the higher, if you set the threshold is higher, as a result, it has the little chunk, it has the fewer chunk, and typically we have the large chunk size. Here is the first attempt. I try to set the large maximum token. For the buffer is pretty low, and the arrange is the breakpoint threshold is normal here. It's in the minimum level, it's in the arrange level here. And then I can go to next step and then configure the data storage and the processing. Here we use the Titan test here model for our embedding model. For the additional configuration, we can use the default setting here. It's the floating point vector embedding. For the vector storage, we can simply use the Amazon S3 vector. This is the preview mode here, but it's safe to use the Amazon S3 vector to do your POC project. And then I create the non-name base. It's good enough for the start point. And then on data source, we select the non-name base and then sync the data. That means it will help us to sync all the PDF file to the brand new S3 vector data source. And then it keeps syncing. After that, it said the state is available. That means S3 already help us to create the vectorized process. We create the S3 vector and it is ready for the Bedrock non-name page. Before we do any action, good to test the non-name page to test everything is correct first. Here, we can retrieve the data only because I want to check the performance, what the resource I can get from the PDF file. And here is the example here. I ask, hey, who is the stockholder on AWS? It provides some data, it provides some information from the PDF file. And here is the good example here. Amazon provides the long-term thinking for the stockholder because of the ownership. And here is the resource for the outcome. And then I could like to understand why Bedrock non-name page provide this information for me. So here is the resource here. It gets the information from the shareholder letter PDF file I upload to S3 before. But this is not good enough. I could like to dive in into the reason why Bedrock retrieve this information. So we can select detail here. On detail, Amazon Bedrock provides the file chunk resource for us. But here is the problem. On chunk 3 is only one sentence here. The chunk only have one sentence. And that means it's the meaningless chunk here. It is not good enough to generate insight for our next step. So we need to go back to the trunk setting here. We need to try the higher threshold and the buffer size. For the recap, the large buffer size, that means it captures more context but introduce noise. But it's good enough because it could help us to create the meaningful insight from our knowledge page. For the breakpoint percentage threshold, it could help us to distinguish the content between every chunk. It could help us to create a semantic chunk for the generate insight. Here is the example. I set the buffer size to 0.9 and the breakpoint percentage is the 98% is pretty high threshold and the buffer size. And here is the outcome. Still have the problem here because the problem is only have one big chunk. We introduce a lot of noise. It's so noisy to generate insight. So for the development, we need to select the right setting. So the question is how to select the right setting. I believe the answer is depend on your content. It depends on the resource, the PDF file on the S3 bucket. So we need to dive into the example. We need to dive in it. What is the shareholder letter? Shareholder letter is the letter for the AWS for the Amazon stockholder here. It outlines the company direction and the future goals. It's also discussing the operation highlight and challenge. It could help us to get the insight from the company strategy and investment. It could help us to outlook the upcoming year. It's the more personal styles. Based on the investigation, I could set the maximum buffer is around 0.93. For the breakpoint threshold, it's 91% is good enough. And the maximum token size, I keep it to 300 here. As a result, I expect it will keep some noise within the chunk, but it could help us to provide the creative insight. It could help the agent to create a comprehensive thinking, and because we provide some detailed information. Here is the outcome. I still ask the same question. Who is stockholder? It provides the normal information on every chunk, and we have tried 5 chunks here. It's pretty good enough to generate insight. And then I use Amazon Novel with knowledge base, and I try to test the outcome. Here is, hey, what is the benefits of the stockholder? And the answer is it will provide the long-term health creation through the stock value, and it could protect the shareholder by higher revenue. And Amazon will investment in the innovation and provide the customer experience to aim to enhance the shareholder value. Last but not least, if the Amazon focus on the financial well-being on individual investor, and the outcome is perfect because it captures the important concept from the shareholder letter from the PDF file. So we can keep going on this demo. Here is the example. We get the information from Fortran, and we have the total 3 different PDF files from 3 years of the shareholder letter, and it's good enough to generate some insight from the PDF file. And this is the example here. I create 3 Bedrock agents. Every agent focus on one type of the PDF file. For example, I have the agent. The agent only focus on the shareholder letter, and another agent focus on annual report. And then finally, we need to create the Bedrock agent based on the knowledge base. On AWS Bedrock console, select agent, and we create it. And then we create the shareholder letter agent. In here, we disable the multi-agent collaboration because the agent only focus on the letter only, and it don't need to have the collaboration with another agent. And then we will create, and then I use the existing service role here because I already have the roles. For the demo purpose, you can directly create the new service role. It's good for your POC project. And I use Novopo as a model on this agent. On the instruction for this agent will focus on a lot of aspects. For example, it needs to focus on the business model, competitive advantage, and the management team industry trend, and the brand awareness. This is the good analytics aspect to understand the intrinsic value of the company. And then on Bedrock knowledge page, we select add. And then we select the knowledge base we create before. It's the FSI stockholder letter knowledge base. And then we attach this knowledge base to this Bedrock agent. After that, we prepare this agent. And on the right-hand side, we need to directly test the agent. Here, what is the benefit of the shareholder? It provides amazing insight here. It's the long-term value. The long-term value may not show the immediately profitability because it's focused on the sustainable growth. It creates the customer experience as the long-term value. It commits the free cash flow per share. That means the key indicator is focused on the long-term value rather than short-term value. And we have the concept about the strategy of Amazon. And then you can follow the step to create another agent for the financial report for the proxy statement. And next, we need to create the supervisor model. The supervisor model means it will monitor, it will have the collaboration with another agent. On AWS Bedrock, we create agent, and then here we enable the multi-agent collaboration. Multi-agent collaboration is enable the multi-Bedrock agent to have the plan and solve the complex multi-step tasks that require the specific skill. So here, every agent have the special skill. They have the specific knowledge base. They have the specific knowledge to handle their tasks. After we create the supervisor agent, we can select field collaboration. On agent collaborator here, we can select shareholder letter agent. And here is the instruction. You are the supervisor from financial service analytic team. Your role is to provide the insight. You can create a macro insight for trader to decide to long or hold or even don't do any action for the Amazon stock. After we finish the setting, we can test the agent. I ask the Amazon Bedrock, hey, what is the future intrinsic value of Amazon? And on the right-hand side, it had the trade timeline. And for the demo purpose, I only attach one agent here. You can see the agent is spent around 8 seconds to generate the insight. And for the supervisor, it's due around 4 seconds to create the final outcome on our testing. Here is the outcome. The Amazon model focuses on creating the value for customer, and it provides the long-term market leadership over the short-term profitability. It focuses on the customer success. It creates the brand awareness, and this is the insight from the shareholder letter. It's pretty good, and I'm happy of this result. And then here is the example from the reasoning from the example. The shareholder letter agent is provide the macro insight and it summary the key point, and it could also conduct the further analytic for the market condition. And it includes some investment goal and risk toleration before any decision. And then here is the detail about the final response. Why Bedrock agent provide this example for us, because it will understand, it create the real value for customer, the long-term market leadership. It focuses on customer base, brand, and infrastructure. It have the powerful economic model. It focuses on customer satisfaction. And this is led by Andy. Andy is the CEO from AWS, from Amazon. And it's the customer central approach. So this is the outcome is match the PDF, the shareholder letter. And on our outcome on the testing, it's always provide the reason, provide the resource why it get the insight. And here is the shareholder letter PDF file. So I try to ask, what is the value of Amazon Day One culture? Day One culture means it have the customer obsession. It care about the customer satisfaction. It focuses on the company innovation and improve the product. It resisting it's the Amazon don't want to have the proxy culture. It adopt the external trend and have the high volume of decision making. So this is totally amazing when use the Amazon Bedrock, Amazon CLI and Amazon CLI to have the workflow to create your POC demo. So I try to look through the shareholder letter, and it's true. On the letter, it's declare what is day one culture, and it's provide it's the Amazon Bedrock is really good enough to get the insight from the large number of the PDF file. So this is the end of my presentation. We talked through the Amazon Bedrock. We create the Bedrock agent. We create the knowledge base. It connects to the S3 factor. And we create a multi-agent to get the insight from the Amazon shareholder letter. And thank you. And hopefully you enjoy this session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Danny. Guys, if you have any question, then you can ask.
Okay. Guys, if you have any question about the Danny's session or my session, please ask. We are feel to answer it.
Yes, good evening. Am I audible?
Oh yeah, you are audible. Yeah.
Yes, yes. If suppose I'm creating one agent to generate the questions for particular standard, okay, for any school books, particularly the science-based subjects. Okay, so for that, I created the agent. If I want to ask someone to use that, how it is possible, how I can deploy, where I can deploy this agent like that. I am not sure about it. So we create agent by using this Bedrock, and the end user how they can use the
Yes,
deployment.
okay. Keep going, keep going.
Yes, that's all.
Okay, so that means can we directly create the agent on AWS on Amazon Bedrock? The answer is yes. Amazon Bedrock can have the native agent. You can directly create the prompt engineer to create the Bedrock only base to attach to the agent. It's simple enough to have the POC demo.
You can try agent core actually, Bedrock agent core, where you can actually deploy that agent, like creating the API of that agent. So you can publicly share that API, like in form of link. So you can
Okay,
integrate that thing in your front end. Through that, you
Okay,
can actually create the agent into kind of a front end or user interface.
okay, okay.
I see. You got it right.
Yes, yes, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question or doubt or any feedback, guys? Yeah. Please share.
Okay, guys. Is there any?
I think your voice is not audible, Tarun. Just
Yeah. Is there any question left, guys? So we are formally want wind up the session.
okay.
So thank you so much, guys.
Okay,
Was
thank you
very
so
good,
much.
wonderful session, and a very special thanks to Mr. Danny and Sujit for taking the time to guide us on Amazon QCIL and Amazon Bedrock. The session was really amazing, and I am sure all of us gained new ideas and inspiration for the future. I would also like to thank our fellow team members and, of course, all the participants for making this event successful. With this, we formally conclude today's session. We hope to see you again in our upcoming event. Thank you again, Danny.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. So just want to
thank you,
announce.
Darren.
Okay, uh, okay. So what we are planning is that so those who build the best game or any of who have done this agent thing like Danny have instructed, those will get the credits. Okay, so best three will get the credits if you build a game with the Amazon's QCLI or like the agent that Danny teaches, right, from Bedrock. So we'll get the credits, top three people. So we circulate a Google form in the WhatsApp group or through email. So please fill that. Please share your feedback and work on this thing like either building a game or building the agent to win the credits. Okay. Yeah. So thank you. This is our third
Okay.
session. Yeah. So we are planning kind of boot camp next month. So we take like do attend that, guys. So thank you, Danny, for your time and your session, and thank you guys for your time you have given us to be in this. Yeah. If anyone have doubt, please you can ask, or we can wind up now, right? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
okay then. Okay, we can wind up. Yeah. Okay then. Bye, guys. You can leave it.
yeah.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.